Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a good rack. It looks close to a bingo. I haven't seen one yet. And it's going to be a shame to break up this rack because apart from the V, the rest of the rack is pretty good. I'm just considering each letter in turn as an initial letter to see if that prompts a word, and it hasn't so far. So how to get rid of the V? I could play Varna, keeping IE, but I think that wrecks the rack too much. So I'm going to play Arva for 12. Okay, not great, but not a disaster either. I have the I and N to go with the Q to make Chi, Chin, and their plurals with the S. Arva does take an S, it also takes an L. I think there were some alternative plays on that opening rack, for example Vina, or a 5-letter play which left one vowel and one consonant. However, I think EINR was a sufficiently good rack lead that I still prefer Arva. Carver only takes an S at the end, Och takes an E after it. But look at this, superb, a great spot for Chi, 33 points. And I also have Cade and Caddy through this A, but Chi scores the most, and this is a pretty good rack lead, especially if I can draw a vowel, which I do. I have rondelles. That plays in row J, it also plays in column 11. So, am I off to the races? Column 8, a bingo lane for bingos with N or S above the A. Not so profitable below the A. Okay, I've got an even nicer spot now for rondelles. Rondelles and budged for 79. Is that definitely nicer? Pretty much the same as pluralizing Carver. But I am taking out the various hooks for budge. I'm not providing anything massive. But does rondelles have an anagram? And I have in mind column 11, if I can play an S in 4th place, then I would have a double-double. Possibly Lendors is good, I'm not sure, but I think I will go with this. Great, I draw the X and the Z, and I have 3 vowels to try and extract value from them, and I have an 80-point lead. I have Zex in row M and Ox. That does place the Z in column 1, so I can expect a 30 or 40 point response. So there may be something better. How about a play in columns 2 or 3? With the Z or X tripled or doubled. I have Zerda, Z-E-R-D-A. That's pretty good because Z takes nothing to the left of it, so I'm not opening up column 1. Gix, not a great rack leave, but XI is good, so I should be able to jettison the X the following turn. Zex and Zax are both nouns, so I'm not going to be able to get rid of the G by playing Zaxing or Zexing. I think just Zax and Zex are the only plays which are candidate plays for getting rid of both of my high-scoring tiles. So what to do if Zerda is blocked? It's not. Fantastic. And only 24 points for my opponent. Plus, he's drawing 5 random tiles. So Zerda for 70. Not so great. However, I do have XI and I have Ixia. The rack leave in either instance, pretty grim. Ixia plays to make Za, but that sticks the X2 to the left of this triple word square. Can't see anywhere great for XI. Okay, just 32 for my opponent, that's good. And he's taken out the S hook for Zerda. What about a play AXO something? Well, I don't have anything. So I've seen Ixia down here, and I may need to go for this. 24 points, not great, and I am gifting my opponent first shot at a 30 or 40 point play, and the rack leave is rubbish. But it's still better than changing. 16 minutes on my clock. Can I do something better? I could play Ixia from the Eye of Bizia, but that retains one more eye. I don't have to play off the X. But if I don't, what do I do with the remaining tiles? Tricky. My A can go after odd, but I just can't make good use of that. Can't get the X tripled, or a big, or play off a significant number of my other tiles. Well, what about this? What about playing XI here? 37 points, that's a much better score. I'm not really gifting opponent anything in row H. And the rack leave, not much worse than YIG. I'm going with this. Okay, that could have been worse. I do draw another eye, but I don't have any clunky tiles. And I have the ING ending. So, for example, I have baying in row J. Quite a lot of useful floaters in Bizia, and the Carver S hook remains available. But Zoo and Zai and the Zerda play have really choked up the whole of the top left of the board, and Chi. So really I could do with choking up more of the board to retain my lead. Super hot in England at the moment, absolute heat wave, hence the light coloured suit. So do I have anything better than baying? And how about a play making Tsar? 26 for my opponent, and he's taking out or interfering with some of the floaters in Bizia. That's good. Baying is problematic. The rack leaves terrible, duplicate eye. It doesn't score a huge amount. It's not taking out the Carver S hook. So, is there something better? A G is good. That's not particularly useful for me. What about a play through the V? Close to vying. Yid is good, but I can't see anything great in column 3. Is there a way of playing off 2 eyes? Well, I could play Ragini. Wow, that's an even lower score than baying. So I'm not a huge fan of that. 14 minutes on my clock. Can I play in row O, putting my A underneath the J? No, I can't. So baying for 20. Not great. But maying doesn't give a huge amount away, and I above a double word square not as useful as some vowels next to premium squares. I'm going to struggle to leave a decent rack leave here. Just looking at the N of baying, wondering if I can get my K doubled. Coiny is good, but that would be one square above and wouldn't get doubled. Icon doesn't get doubled, but doesn't get the word doubled, but does get K doubled. Now, what about putting my K above the A of carver to disrupt that S hook? I'm not seeing anything great. Still both blanks to come, so maybe some merit in turning over tiles. Not that baying did the job last turn. The remaining tiles look fantastically bingo-y. Just a few flies in the ointment with the Fs, U, V, W, W, Y, but all of the rest stands out as being bingo-y. An opponent taking a while and playing off just 2 tiles suggests he could be holding on to a pretty good 5-letter set. So what can I do? Ken, kin, con. Just looking for extensions that get doubled. Not seeing any. Wow, I was thinking of playing KOI for almost nothing. Surely I can do better than that. I could play Reiki, but the score's dismal. So I'm in a spot of trouble here. Really don't know what to do. I'm actually thinking about doing this. 39 points. Okay, well, I really am thinking about doing it. I think that's enough to overcome my qualms about the lead. I'm going with this. Well, pretty fortunate. I draw 3 consonants. Okay, here we go. Opponent bingos and doesn't use either blank, and he's now just 75 points behind me. Do I have a bingo? And I think the T is the most likely tile. Re-incite. Yep, that does the job. Wow. It's amazing how racks can turn around, given that I kept double E, double I. Icterine is its anagram. That doesn't play. Re-incite for 70. It does take a D and an S. So this is a really volatile play. I'm also opening up row D. Let's do it. Bang. There is a blank, and the rest of the rack looking pretty good. So, is there something here? Through an E or an I would have intermit. So, do I have a bingo from the eye of busier? Yes, I do. Intermit. That works. How about something better? That would be opening up a triple lane. I think for a bingo, the blank is likely to be a vowel. So let me just have a look for 7s. Can't see anything with the blank as an A or an E or an I. O, U, Y, nothing. So I am looking at 8s with this rack, and I note that Koto has opened up a new pretty hot bingo lane in column 1 for bingos with an A or a D next to ZO. I would have tantrism through an A or an S. Annoyingly, I haven't got any alternative bingos. But probably that I not the most obvious lane to block. And it's not. Fantastic. So, intermit for 70. Not terrible. I think through an O I would have Pedagoras, and fortunately I now have a D and an S for going on the end of re-insight. No more Ds out there. 2 S's and a blank. So if I can survive the triple triple, I can play something like, and I do, I can now play something like Darga in column 15, taking out the triple triple threat, taking out the re-insight hook. How am I doing? 11 minutes on my clock and 180 odd points lead. Fantastic. Do I have a bingo? Well, I think it's just a matter of looking at the available floaters, and I don't think I do. I'm turning over tiles to expedite the end of the game, maximise my chances of drawing this blank. Darga for 33. Well, I don't draw the blank, but look at this. Having said that the bag looked very bingo-y, I can now see that the U, V, W, W and Y are all still unplayed, so it's no longer a massively bingo-y bag. Obviously with the blank S and E's, there are bingos, and there are bingo lanes on this board. And opponent burning an S fairly cheaply suggests he's got the other one. This is quite a nice rack. I don't have a bingo, but I have a good enough lead now to I think win the game. And this rack has good scoring potential with scoring tiles and vowels. There may be an 8-letter bingo through the right floater, but I'm not seeing anything through the R of busier. And not really any other floaters to consider. So where can my F or P score well? And I'd like to play off both or one of the L's. Just looking in column 12. F or P could go on this double word square. No, not seeing anything there. So I'm not seeing a ton of options, but what I do have is a massive lead. So I could play FOP in column 2, obstructing that bingo lane, scoring OK. Possibly having a bingo next turn, depends on how many tiles opponent leaves in the bag. And there won't be any if he bingos now, but I think even if he bingoed twice, which he's not going to do with U, V, W, W, Y, then that would still not be enough. He's certainly taking a while with this play. Sofa being his last one. But there must be a good chance he's drawn one of these problem tiles. So maybe he's just trying to leave himself the best possible rack lead to have a shot at a bingo with his last move. Well, the WWY still out there. 4 tiles in the bag, which is great. It means I can play FOP and leave 1 in the bag. That's 22 points. I guess flop might have had some attraction if it didn't empty the bag. Yeah, let's see how many of these problem tiles I can draw. Just the 1, fantastic. And I have wellies on my rack, which plays in column 3. And it still plays. Crazy. Anywhere better for it. 10 minutes on my clock, 10 minutes on my opponent's clock. Bag is empty. Ah, stew is good. Well, I think this is going to score more. 81. I think it may be the same. Trifling difference if there is any at all. So wellies for 81. And the final score, 315 to my opponent, 580 to me, a winning margin of 265 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Fantastic end to the game. This was my opening rack. And Varia, yeah, these are the 5 and greater options which were available. I played Ava for 12, keeping Rain, and I still prefer my play. Rain may not be 12 points better than EN. However, it is a better rack leave. And on the opening move, I think floaters generally count for about 2 points. So Varia provides 4 floaters, so that would be worth about 8 points. So I think Ava's a better play. Ava for 12. And this was opponent's rack. He plays Och. I played Chi for 33. Chen's also available at E11 and making carvers for 3 more points but burning the S, so I prefer my play. Opponent plays Budge, and now I have Rondelles. Other bingos were available, and look at that, Cavalleros, a 5 lesser extension to Carver, was available, but I think Rondelles was the best. Opponent plays Busier, and I have Zerda for 70, which was a bingo-y score from a non-bingo-y rack. Opponent's rack plays Ohm, and I now hit some heavy weather, but I play Z for 37, and I think that's best. Opponent plays G, and now I'm still struggling with my rack. I played Bang for 20, I didn't like it, but I prefer it to Ya. 2 eyes much better than 3. Opponent plays Yule, so this was a move he spent a while on. Yule keeping Pine up. Pine are a pretty good 5-letter set. Not an absolute monster, but probably worth maybe around 10 points, so pretty good 5-letter set. My rack struggled here, went with Koto in the end. Didn't like the rack leave, did like the points. Petering for my opponent, which was a great spot. And now I'm really fortunate, having kept 4 vowels. I have a bingo in Re-Insight, and that was the only one. Opponent plays Tau, and I have Intromit also available, but nothing else. So, opponent has a blank and a triple lane. Did he have one? Nope. But he did have bingos. Didn't spot any of them. Played Sofa. My rack, I played Darga for 33, and I still like that. Opponent has Volute, tricky one to see, doesn't play it, plays Out. I play Fop for 22, and I still like that. I think that's close to being the most bingo-y rack lead, possibly ELPS. Yeah, Float has some merit, but actually I've just got a gut feel that Fop is better, bingo-wise. Opponent plays Way, and now I'm really fortunate to have an Out bingo, which I really wasn't expecting, and nor was I playing for in any great expectation of landing one. So that was the end of the game. Absolutely fantastic game. Approaching the 600 point mark. It's not that often you get over 500, but it's fairly often. But it's a lot less common to get over 600, and indeed I didn't get over 600, but I nearly did, and therefore this is a very big score and something to enjoy getting. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.